Exercise here. Invite you again to close your eyes. Take a few slow, deep breaths. Relax and release. And bring to mind some unethical act that you committed in the past which remains incomplete for you, that is, remains uncorrected, or around which you still feel some guilt or discomfort. And now allow yourself to become aware of something you could do to heal this. And if it feels right, make a commitment to do so. Make a commitment to heal it in whatever way would be most helpful to everyone, including yourself. Okay, bring your awareness back to the room. Now, many of you will have found that when you think of some old action, that it doesn't take much to think of some way that it could be completed or corrected or healed in some way. And what I want to suggest is that doing that brings very remarkable benefits. And when taken to a full practice, then it becomes the exercise which is step 4 of the Alcoholics Anonymous 12-step program. We took a fearless moral inventory. That is, if you want to do this as an advanced practice, what you do is you spend time recalling and recording as many old, incomplete, unethical actions as you can. And you make a list of these. And you, for example, all the people you haven't told that you love them, or you haven't thanked, or you lied to, or withheld from, or hurt in some way. And you look for ways to correct this. And you write them down, and it's also very good to set a deadline for correcting them. Again, the Buddha was very smart on this. He said, be quick to do good. If you're slow, the mind, delighting in mischief, will catch you. There's that wonderful saying, procrastination is a sin. It causes endless sorrow. I really must give it up. In fact, I'll start tomorrow. So you write these down, you get your unethical list, and you look at what you're willing to correct. And another skillful practice is to find a colleague, a friend, a trusted friend, or a teacher or guide who you tell this to. And that's step 5 of the Alcoholics Anonymous program. Okay. Another practice for ethics. We mentioned this before, but it's really important. Hang out with ethical people. That's the Sangha, the community, the second jewel of the Dharma. Okay? Because ethical values and consciousness and behaviors reinforce themselves in a community. Okay? And then finally, one makes ethics an increasingly central part of your practice, your path, and your life. That is, one does one's spiritual practice, one's work in the world, one's yoga, whatever one's path is, and as part of that, increasingly tries to practice ethics in all activities. Now let me let you into a big secret. You'll make mistakes. We fail repeatedly. Ram Dass used to say, and it's a wonderful statement, the spiritual path progresses one body length at a time. You take a step, you fall flat on your face. You pick yourself up, you fall flat on your face, and so it goes. Or use another metaphor, you fall asleep, you wake up, what's that saying? You fall asleep, you wake up, you fall asleep. The name of the game, and it happens 1,000 times, the name of the game is to wake up one more time than you fall asleep. Okay. Briefly then, in our remaining times, just moving to another level here, the contemplative level, or the level of working with the mind. This is basically meditative morality. It's bringing a contemplative, sensitive awareness to the mind itself, which is the source of all unethical and ethical behavior. So now we're moving from the expression to the source. And most people work only with their behavior. Mature people work increasingly with their minds. They become more and more aware of the mind state powering their activities and work with that before unskillful mind states find expression. Okay? And how do you work with these mind states? Well, everyone here is probably a meditator. You know how to work with these. Unskillful mind states come up. Anger, fear, jealousy, greed, hatred, etc. Any of those favorites. And you have a choice. Basically two practices. You cultivate antidotes. That is, you bring up a counteractive mind state, such as love to replace anger. Or, on the other hand, you simply bring awareness to the experience, knowing that, as Fritz Perls said, awareness in and of itself is curative. Awareness heals. So we simply bring awareness to these painful, destructive mind states and allow them to unfold and release. And eventually one gets this extraordinary gift of realizing that the mind, when we bring awareness to the mind, it turns out to be self-healing, self-correcting, self-actualizing, and self-transcending. Okay. So, then, at this stage, there's a further transmutation of the whole practice of ethics. Because at this stage, ethics begins to mature into a natural, spontaneous expression. Ethics starts to become not something we have to wrestle with ourselves with, not something we have to force, not even something we have to worry about so much, but rather becomes a natural, spontaneous expression of our true nature. And we look back from this more ethical way of being and recognize the distortions and costs that unethical behavior exacts. Because with the clarified, calmed mind, we're able to see more clearly and precisely and accurately just what unethical behavior costs us. And we recognize that we're not who we thought we were, and that who we were busy lying and cheating to protect was really only an illusion of ourselves, a mere frightened fragment of our mind, and that who we really are is actually in need of no defense. Well, that we're not only more than we think, we're more than we can think. And we look out at the world and increasingly see ourselves in all others. And there are no others to lie or cheat to. And then we begin to see the reality as a direct experience, the words of the Buddha, all that you do to yourself. Jack Kornfield described the growth of ethics very beautifully. He said, at first ethics are a practice, then they become a necessity, and finally they become a joy. You practice being ethical until you realize, first, that you really want to be ethical. It's what you most deeply want. And finally, that being ethical is a natural, joyful expression of who you really are. So, as an expression of that, one of the practices of ethics is to, and of Karma Yoga actually, is to do one's practice as fully as one can, and as part of the intention to use it for the benefit of all, offering the benefits as a part of our turning, so our dedication. Perhaps we can raise the aspiration together that may all that we have explored and experienced and found here together be of benefit in fostering our maturation and well-being, so that we may become ever more effective instruments for the healing and welfare of all. Thank you.